Do you dream of a life where you don't have to work until you die? Would you like to spend your retirement years actually enjoying them? Yes? Then pay attention to this video and gain knowledge from the ultra-rich Warren Buffett. What does Warren Buffett know about retirement, and how can he help you figure out how to get your retirement on track? If you have nothing saved up and you're over 40 years old, it can be a daunting feeling, thinking that you have no savings to fall back on as retirement approaches. Life happens so quickly to all of us. You finish school, get a job, then you're married with kids and looking for a home, and then in the blink of an eye, you're entering your 40s and you have no plans for retirement. This is where Warren Buffett comes in. It turns out he was considered retired when he was 27 years old. Here is what he said in one of his speeches. It's much easier to save in those teenage years. If you're lucky enough to be in a family where you have your parents taking care of your financial obligations, every dollar then is worth making $10 or $20 later on. See, he's talking about saving money as a teenager. Most of us weren't thinking about saving money as a teenager, so here we are. Obviously, it's true that the sooner you save money, the easier and faster you'll retire, but it's still very possible to do so in your 40s. So don't panic, because I'll show you how to get it on track. And it all starts with this step. Warren Buffett said college students are basically living the same life he's living. Now you're thinking, what does Warren Buffett's living like a college student have to do with the first step? Let me explain. If Warren Buffett can live like a college student, be happy, and still be the 5th richest person in the world, then there's something more to it than money. It's his positive mindset. Being positive is the first step to figuring out how to start saving. As soon as you stop believing that you can retire, then the chances of you doing so decrease dramatically. As Warren Buffett said, should you find yourself in a chronically leaking boat, energy devoted to changing vessels is likely to be more productive than energy devoted to patching leaks. Do you have a leaking boat? Maybe your leaking boat is the inability to find motivation. Maybe it's time to change your boat. But how do you get the motivation to get started? You probably don't have any friends to help guide you, as they're all too busy. They have their own concerns about retirement. But let me share something with you that will change your outlook. What do you think Harlan Sanders, the creator of KFC, Henry Ford, the man that started the Ford Motor Company, Martha Stewart, the queen of food television and home care, and Roy Kroc, the man who started and built McDonald's to be the biggest fast food chain in the world, have in common? They all found success well after the age of 40. In fact, there's even more to it than this. Turns out that adults past the age of 40 are at the peak of their careers. In other words, they make more money than they did when they were younger. This is because they have a lot of experience under their belts and are at the peak of getting promotions and raises. You can use this to your advantage. How, you ask? You can use this extra money to fuel your retirement savings. You must be careful, though. For example, if you start making more money, your family may also want to use that money more for fun activities like vacations and trips. You might suffer from lifestyle creep. This is why it's important to make sure you take this next step when you're looking to save for retirement. You need to have a plan and make sure that your family is on the same page. That means fewer vacations and reducing wants and focusing more on needs. Talking with your family and discussing your plan can prevent fights that can derail your progress to retirement. Even though your family may not be immediately happy, they'll thank you later. This was the approach that Warren Buffett took with his family, and his kids have nothing but good things to say about their father. Warren Buffett gave his children enough to live comfortably, but not enough to be spoiled or entitled. This way, they all became successful. So step 2 is to make sure that you discuss your retirement plans with your family and that everyone is on board. But what is your plan? How do you plan to retire when you don't have that much time left? Well, it starts with step 3. If you take your retirement seriously, then it's paramount that you know where you're spending your money and where you can cut down your costs and increase your income. You want to be intentional with your money and give every single dollar a job. In simpler terms, this step is known as making a budget. When you intentionally put amounts of money into things such as assets, you can make a detailed plan to save up enough money so you can retire with ease. But the best thing about budgeting can be summed up with a Warren Buffett quote. The most important thing to do if you find yourself in a hole is to stop digging. He makes a great point there. I like to say, stop the bleeding. You can't always buy what you want and think you'll be fine, or you will make it up later. This is the same as digging yourself a hole and continuing without thought. A budget helps you realize you're in a hole and allows you to stop digging so you can get out. Get rid of the shovel. Better yet, sell it. Ha 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 ha. Buffett is very frugal to this day. He drives a used car, eats cheap meals, and lives in the same home he bought in 1958. The truth is, you only get one shot at life, so it's best to do it right. I know people hate hearing the words saving and budgeting. It makes them cringe as they love to live life freely and enjoy the moments, and they are afraid those moments won't happen anymore. Now, as you start accumulating money in hopes that you may get rich as Warren Buffett, you may wonder what's the best way to save. It's probably to put it into a savings account, right? Well, you'd be surprised by this answer, which is also the next step. There are 3 places you need to save money. The first is the traditional method, which is for emergencies. Everyone should have an emergency fund. The second is investments, and the third is for big purchases like a down payment on a home. While these are all important, I have something to reveal to you. You can't merely save money and get rich. As you probably know, that's not at all what made Warren Buffett rich. In fact, the majority of his net worth lies in investing. Now, I have something very important to tell you. In fact, it may be one of the most important things you will learn. Debt is the killer of your income, and it makes life totally miserable. You pay interest on debt, and if it's credit card debt, it's at a high percentage. Sadly, debt plagues many Americans. Now I'm going to tell you how to get out of it, and it's not what you'd expect. If you're in debt, forget about saving right now. Yes, I get you're confused, but hear me out. Debt nullifies the effect of your savings because you must pay huge interest payments. The longer you hold on to debt, the more you pay in the long run. As Warren Buffett said in one of his annual shareholder meetings, I don't know where you can find a return of 18%, and you definitely take it if you find it. Funnily enough, paying your debt faster is basically a return on whatever the interest rate is. With your debt totally cleared out now, I can finally tell you about the best step on the list. And you'll see why. When you're starting to see money come in due to your debts being paid off, you need to give your money work to do. No, not just having a purpose or a place to be, but to actually work for you to make money. You spend all your life working and deserve a break. So passing that work to money can make you and money a team that will give you financial freedom. Your money becomes a recruiting team for you. They recruit more money to be on your team. Essentially, you want to place your money in investments so that it can grow beyond what you thought imaginable. This is where almost all of Warren Buffett's net worth sits. However, it can be hard to decide how to be properly intentional with your money. You probably have questions like, how much should I put into expenses? How much should I invest? And how much should I save? These are all good questions, and I can answer them easily with 3 numbers, 75, 15, and 10. This rule says that for every dollar you earn, 75% of it goes into expenses, 15% goes to investments, and 10% goes to savings. This way, every single dollar both has a job. There's still one more step that can make or break whether you can retire or not. Before I tell you that step, though, you need to understand the difference between an asset and a liability. Simply put, an asset puts money in your pocket, and a liability takes money out of your pocket. You work hard for your money and you get to decide how to use it. At the end of the day, one thing to always remember is that you need to be able to buy something up front with cash. For example, if you need a car, don't buy a $60,000 car that instantly depreciates in value, but buy a used one that's very reliable and likely to last you for years to come. Warren Buffett doesn't buy things based on luxury, but always on functionality. A car gets you from one place to another, and that's that. It doesn't matter if it's a Ferrari or a Ford. But what about a home? Everyone needs a home to live in, and buying a house is a good asset, right? Well, that may not be the case. If you buy a home and end up struggling to pay it off and pay an absorbent amount in maintenance, it'll turn into your worst nightmare. It's better to live in an apartment you can afford and start saving up so you can buy a home that you can be comfortable in and call it an asset. When it comes to daily purchases, just because you see a fixed price doesn't mean you need to pay it. One old skill can help you lower prices, and that's negotiation. You may be able to strike a lower price that can help you spend less. Saving for retirement is not easy. You need to make major sacrifices, but it's worth it. You'll be so happy and grateful to know that you won't burden your children when they're getting their lives together, and you can enjoy the last years of your life peacefully. You can be dignified in knowing that it was all you. See, it's totally possible to retire even if you've started your plan after 40. Now that you have your mind more at ease about retiring, it's time for you to learn the secrets of money. The first secret is to subscribe to this channel. Thank you for doing that. The next step is click on this video right here. 22 powerful secrets to get rich faster. You don't want to miss them.